All right, YouTube. This is Michael coming at you. I forget which channel I'm going to put this one on, but whichever one of them it is, you guys can see the roads, man. This is on a road outside of the subdivision I live in. Excuse me. It's heading into another little village that I ride my bicycle into a lot. I ride around. These are fuel tankers, and they're waiting to get filled up with fuel. Okay, that's what they do. They sit right there because there's a fuel storage area. You can't see it. Well, maybe you can. It's going to be on the right, that open area. Okay, and there's cars and trucks on this road. But this road, it looks cool, right? But let me tell you, you don't drive on these kind of roads right here at night in Cambodia. You do not do it. Okay, you're gonna see why here in a little bit. Okay, in the daytime I will, because I can see the holes, the potholes, the massive potholes in the road. Okay, there you go. There's one right there. You just seen it right there. Okay, what happens is they don't have any drainage over here. Okay, you don't see any ditches or anything on the side. So during the monsoon season, water gets up underneath of the cement, and because they use cement to make roads over here, and hydrostatics will push the land out, the dirt out, because they don't put anything down underneath the cement. They will push the soil out, and there will be a hollow spot underneath, and one of those big trucks will drive over it, and it'll break the cement. Okay, and once that pothole starts, there's another one right there. Once those potholes start, they just keep growing and growing, and they will throw dirt in the potholes. Okay, they will throw dirt, sometimes a little bit of rock in there. Okay, they're building probably another subdivision right over here, the bricks on the side, but you guys could see. Where do you guys see up here? I'll show you. Okay, like I said, once the water is on the road, you can't see the potholes because it looks like a small puddle, but it's not. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're really big. So at night, I do not drive on these little side roads. Okay, on the left, that's somebody's little house that they made right there alongside the road, man. I don't know whose land it is. There's another pothole right there. Okay, I go around it with my bike, but like I said, at night you can't see them. Okay, and there's no street lights. You can see there's no street lights. Okay, coming up here real soon, I want you guys to look on the right and the left. Okay, this is where people put their rubbish. It's only $5 a month for them to come pick up your trash. Okay, like I said, it's only $5 a month for them to come pick up the rubbish at your house. But some people either don't have it or they just don't want to pay it. Okay, so what they do is they find an open area. Okay, like you're going to see up here in a little bit, you're going to see an open area. And what they do is they just start throwing their trash there. Okay, they just throw their trash in these areas. If you look to the left, okay, you're going to see a big old pile of trash. And then you're going to look, see right there you go. Okay, and there's one to the right that's still smoldering because it got too big, and I don't know, somebody sets them on fire. I have no idea what's in all that rubbish. I'm sure it's plastic, styrofoam, whatever. Okay, you can see the potholes. Okay, you guys can see them. The road, okay, is cement sort of, and it will eventually, for some reason, I don't know why, it will eventually just start to disintegrate. Okay. And when it does, when it disintegrates, once it starts to break apart, it will just keep deteriorating. You see those big old piles of rocks along the side of the road. They do that so people don't set up like little food stands on somebody else's property. Oh, there's another big old pothole. You guys saw that one. Okay, like I said, they put up those rocks so people don't build themselves like a little shanty right there on their property. Okay, and like I said, the road, okay, because of these big trucks, that's a fuel truck right there. Okay, carrying it's probably gasoline from that one right there. No lights on. Okay, no nothing. They just drive over here. I've seen trucks with no headlights at night. No tail lights, no nothing, man. They're just driving on the roads. Okay. Like I said, the road is about ready to deteriorate. Okay, so that's why I don't buy a new car over here, because it will just tear it up. You guys can see the road is starting to fall apart, right? Okay, I'm trying to ride around it so it's smooth on my phone, but you guys see, man. You guys see what the road's like, right? It just all of a sudden ends, and now it is dirt or gravel or a combination of dirt, gravel, and old cement, right? And you guys can't really see it that well, but let me tell you, these potholes, like I said, you do not drive on these roads at night, especially after rain, okay? Because you don't know how deep they are. You don't know what's inside of them, if there's pieces of metal in there, if there's whatever. But you guys can see. You guys can see what the road looks like, right? This is maybe 2 miles from my house, something like that. Everything over here is kilometers. I'm going to say maybe 2 miles. But you guys can see all these big old potholes in the road, okay? Now, coming up, there's an overpass. That is the only freeway they have in Cambodia, okay? And it goes from the capital, Phnom Penh, down to the sea. It's a toll road, okay? And to drive on that toll road all the way from the city all the way down to the sea, it costs like $18, I think, each way, something like that. But it's a nice road. It's a nice highway, but I'm going underneath of it in the shade over here. You guys can see. Wait till we come out on the other side, man. You're going to see some hella tore up stuff right there, man. Some hella tore up stuff. Okay. There we go, right there, man. They're recycling pallets, wood. There's a lot of recycling over here, okay? These little carts bring stuff, and they recycle them. Sometimes they make pallets, new pallets out of the old ones. They take them apart and make them, which is fine. But if you look off to the right, man, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but that's hella rubbish right there in front of that house, man. And people just sit around and they don't care. Well, you can see it. You guys can see it. Now they have like a little drainage thing on the right-hand side, but even when it rains, you see on the side there's like a metal grate right there. Even when it rains, those things fill up fast because nobody ever takes them apart, takes them off to clean them out. So there's leaves and trash and all kind of stuff in there, man. So, like I said, over here at night, you got to be really careful the roads that you take, okay? I'll drive in the city at night, and I'll drive from the city to my house because the roads there is fairly good, okay? But I'm fixing to go down in here in a minute or two, okay? Okay. You can see these big trucks. I got to be careful on the bicycle, man, because these big trucks over here, like I said, nobody has a auto insurance over here. There is no such thing. I don't know anybody that has any insurance of any kind, to be honest with you. Okay, so on the right is a Chinese place. The Chinese are the ones that made that freeway that I showed you. Okay, the Chinese are the ones that made the new airport in Cambodia. That's some kind of a Chinese little deal over there they got right there. That's why it looks so clean to the right. Okay, I'm not allowed to go over there or take any kind of photos of it because their security will come out and stop me. But Cambodia, let me tell you what they did. They built a new airport. About, I don't know, it takes about an hour to get there from my house. It's outside of the city. And to me the airport is not really that nice, but anyways, they borrowed the money from China. Okay? They borrowed the money from China, and they're going to pay China back in 50 years. It's a 50-year payment plan. Do you think an airport is going to last for 50 years? Okay, especially with the construction order. There's another pothole right there. You see how big it is? I went around it. But like I said, on this road right here, man, I will not drive at night. Okay, especially after rain. Okay, you guys can see you see the little blue cross? That's a doctor's office. Okay, I don't know. Okay, so I'm fixing to go down this one little road that I go down. And this is straight up Povertyville down in here, man. This is straight up Povertyville, okay? Now, the one thing about this is, okay, you can see my shadow right there. The one thing about this is, in these little small villages, okay, they don't make any money, okay? They make very little. For them, they will work in a garment factory for 6 days a week, 11 hours a day for $218 a month. Okay, and they have to sit at those little tables. They're actually like sweatshops. Okay, so, and like I said, they pay like $218, $225, maybe $250 if you're lucky. If you've been there long enough, you make that. So, with that being said, okay, it's easy to find a young lady over here, okay, 18 and above, that has no problem about your age. And I'm telling you that's coming from a 67-year-old man, and I'm telling you that firsthand. Okay? You can see right here where they're building something right there in the street. They don't care, right? Kind of a tore up little street right here. But like I said, this is how they live. I want you guys to get ready to look to the right and see something. Okay? You guys are going to see something. I stopped because they need to go around. I stopped there for a minute, maybe just wipe the sweat off my face. Pretty damn hot outside. So, but you'll see the children outside. They don't go to school. A lot of them don't go to school. Even a free government school, they have to buy pencils and paper and things. I want you to look right there to the right, man. You see how they live? There you go. Right there. There's somebody's house, man. That's how they live. So, people over here will live in the worst conditions you can imagine, and then they will go finance a car at one of these buy here, play here, or pay here car lots like they have in the USA. And they charge like 15%, 18%, 20-something% interest on a car. They would much rather have a car and make a payment every month and struggle and live in absolute, well, you guys can see where they live, right? If you look on the right, that's where they're living. That's where they hang their clothes, right? That's where they live. They just put hammocks. Oh, there's a monk right there on the road, walking on the road. And those people are carrying an umbrella and walking in orange clothes. Those are Buddhist monks. They walk around and they bless people for contributions. So, anyways, you guys can kind of see what I see when I go on my bike ride right over here, man. This is straight up. This is straight up Cambodia right here. You're not going to see all this on the bloggers and the influencers. I think you call them influencers, right? You're not going to see that. Okay, you're just not going to see it because they don't come out here. I'm like the only foreigner that I've ever seen out here on these little side roads. Okay, they don't do it. This is straight up poverty land. A lot of these houses you're seeing, they have no water, no running water, and no electricity. Okay, they have these big cement like I don't know, like pots or something, and they're pretty good size. And then they pay somebody to come put from like a water truck to put water in them. Now I'm coming out here to a main road, okay? But this guy over here pulling this little cart over here, man, I got to stop and maybe back up and try to go around him. He's pulling this long-ass thing with a little moto on it, man. Okay? You can see off in the distance, there's a school right there. I taught at that school for a little bit, man. Anyways, I'm coming back out here on sort of a main road, but it's the same, man. It's the same kind of stuff. Absolute poverty. Like I said, if you're a 55-year-old man and you want a 19-year-old girlfriend, you come over here, man. You get hooked up fast, man. You know what I'm saying? I hate to make it sound like that, but that's just the way it is, right? For them, $200-300 a month, man. That's more than they could probably make working someplace. So, like I said, it's that's just the way it is, So, okay, anyways, I want to tell you guys, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really do appreciate it, man. Please hit subscribe, help me out a little bit, man. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.